So it's good to see you again, Carly.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah, so how have things been since we've last spoken?
I mean, I guess they've been not too good, I guess. I mean, I've really been struggling with my grades in school, and like I can't do it. I don't know how I'm able to go through every day and do all these classes and get all these assignments it's just impossible for me to do this. And on top of that, like my roommate, she's just the craziest person in the entire world, and I can't live with her, and I just miss being at home with my friends and my family so much.
Sounds like you just missed the simplicity.
Yeah, everything was so easy back at home.
Okay. So these assignments and this roommate of yours is what I hear are your main things weighing you down right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is it about the work that's different than the work, let's say, that you were working on in high school?
I don't know. I guess in high school it was so easy because you were forced to be there for 8 hours a day. So like you got to do things, like you got things done there, and you would have your group projects and have your like assignments, and then like you would just get it and you're in class until you get it. But I feel like in college, like I just have so much space in between the time I do things, and like I just don't have the time to work on the assignments they give us.
Did you just don't think that they gave you enough time? Or do you think it's your time management maybe? That's just, things are a little tougher to manage when you're by yourself?
Probably be both, honestly. I don't think they give us enough time, and then I probably don't do my, delegate my time
Right.
enough.
So you haven't been able to make friends with this roommate of yours?
Mm-hmm.
What's been stopping you there from forming a friendship?
Well, she's just really, I don't know, she's messy and she's rude. Like she only cares about herself. Like she'll come and go as she pleases, and sometimes like she'll say hi to me and sometimes she won't. And it's just really hard to read, and I can't really deal with people who are wishy-washy like that, and like just don't have the common courtesy to say hello. And it's like she doesn't care to, like, we're living together, we're in the same space, like the least she could do is say hi to me.
Yeah.
So rude.
So when you were at home, I know how you said how much you miss being there. Did you have a roommate, or did you live with a sister or a sibling?
I lived with my mom and dad and my brother.
Okay. So you're used to having, people who are very warm to you, and when you come home after a day of school or work, what have you, you're used to that greeting.
Yeah, they always say hi to me when I walk in the door.
You miss that closeness.
Yeah, I do.
Me too. Okay. Have you yourself, do you think that you've made an effort to reach out to this roommate?
I think I did once, like in the beginning. She, like when we first met, I was like, "Hi, I'm Carly. Like here I am, I'm your roommate." And I like tried to try and get lunch with her or something like that. And we had lunch together for the first week we were living together, and then she just like never came back. And she would come back, but like late at night. And I don't know if our schedules are different. I know she works, but like I was the one who reached out to her in the beginning to get lunch, and she's never reached out and been like, "Hey, like, do you want to go watch a movie, or like, do you want to do this?" Like, she's never reached out to me either since, and I don't feel like I should be the only person reaching out.
Okay. Yeah. So I could see definitely how that would have you feeling, just neglected, especially when you're feeling so overwhelmed with class.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in class, do you feel like you're able to understand the concepts in there, or is it just is the overwhelming part that you're not really able to grasp those yet?
I mean, I get some things, but other things just go right over my head, I feel like, or like in one ear and out the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just get so frustrated that I don't even want to be there.
So you have trouble focusing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's always been a problem with mine.
That's it. Okay.
And then whenever I can't focus, I drift off into some other, like I don't pay attention, I daydream a lot, and then I feel guilty about it afterwards. So I go home and I overeat, like I'm eating a lot lately, and it's been really hard on me because I feel like the more bad things I eat, the more tired and not wanting to do things I am.
Yeah. So your free time is you just feel stressed and you eat, and you're not able to actually enjoy your free time, really. Okay. You know, this probably definitely adds on to your overwhelmed feelings. That even your time by yourself, that's supposed to be relaxing, is, you know, kind of induced with stress as well. So it'd be good if we could get, you know, to see how maybe these things that are pulling at you, we can get to the bottom of these and see maybe why they become stressors in your life. So if you don't mind me asking about class, and you said you're daydreaming a lot. Like what kind of things do you dream up? What kind of things do you think about when you're unable to pay attention?
Well, I don't know. It kind of varies. Like, I think about being back at home with my friends and how we used to go hang out in my friend's garage all the time, like in the summer, and it was super fun, and we would just be there for hours on end. And I don't know. I guess sometimes when it gets really bad, or like if I really am struggling, like all I want to do is just go home and cut myself, and that's not something that I got used to doing, like that I ever did in high school, but it's something that I think about when I'm feeling stressed, is that feeling of wanting to do that.
Just wanting to come home and do these self-harming behaviors, like overeat, cut yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing that, do you feel like it's the way to escape for you, or do you know, if you were to say, just if you were to say the first thing that comes to mind when you think of cutting, what would it be?
You know, the word just sounds so scary and not, I don't know, just kind of scary it sounds. But when I do it, I guess it is kind of a way for me to escape. Like, I don't think about anything else when I do that.
Okay. Now, have you mentioned this to anybody else before?
No,
Okay.
I haven't. It's not like I want to kill myself or anything like that, but I sometimes when I can't feel things, I might to make myself feel it.
Right. It's just something you resort to,
Mm-hmm.
sort of, rather than something you actively want to do. You don't start your day thinking that you want to end up cutting yourself. It's just something that happens when you're overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've been talking a lot about this adjustment and how difficult it is for you.
Yeah.
And something that you keep going back to is your childhood friends and that sort of complacency that you felt with your family and your old friends. Do you feel like people at college, the people that you meet, are unable to replace that in your life?
Well, yeah, because they're my best friends and my family. You know, like no one can beat my friend. She is just the greatest, and I haven't met anybody else like that here. And it sucks because, like, I hear everybody meets their, you know, best friends for life when they go away to college, and here I am, you know, in my dorm room on a Friday night watching movies and shoving pizza down my face the whole time. Just hating it.
Right. It's yeah. People you need, you understand that you can't replace what you have, and it's definitely a big move for you to state that, you know, that you don't have that friendship that you desire in your life, and obviously you're unhappy with that.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future we could, you know, work on some ways that you could try to get to know other people without expecting too much, you know.
Yeah, that's
Because
my problem. I expect way too much out of
expect too
people.
much, yeah.
And I always get let down every time. So it's like, why even try?
Because when you were talking about your roommate, you know, her not reaching out is not necessarily her disliking you. It's I can tell that you're really sort of making her out to be somebody who's like against you, but I feel as though she's just having trouble reaching out herself, maybe. And
What do you think about that?
maybe.
She is really busy. She works full time, and then well, not full time, but basically she works a lot of hours, and then she has a lot of classes and extracurriculars. So maybe she is just busy and doesn't see that she's hurting my feelings when she doesn't say hi.
Have there been people in your past who've hurt your feelings by being disrespectful and rude? You know, sort of the things that you were saying about your roommate. Have people treated you in the past in ways that have elicited those negative feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't even really count the amount of people who I've, tried to make an effort with and only end up hurting me in the end. Or, I wasn't important enough for them to have that relationship with me. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm putting those feelings on her too.
So these people that have hurt you in the past, do you think that they're maybe the reason why you started these self-harm habits?
Maybe. I mean, I guess, it was the past and they hurt me, and I never I never did that to myself before when they did it, but I guess now just everything seems so overwhelming, and I make myself, like when I think of my roommate being crude to me, it makes me think of all the other times people were, and that it's my fault and that I'm doing something wrong.
Right, I understand. Sometimes we have a tendency to put those negative feelings into people who are not necessarily doing those things to us. So maybe just something to be aware of this next week when we're apart is when you have these negative feelings toward your roommate, maybe try to think, be a little logical about it. Just think maybe, what is she actually doing? And think that if you weren't judging her like this, maybe you wouldn't be having these negative thoughts.
And how do I approach her?
How would you like to be approached?
Like if I was her? I don't know.
Like if she were to approach you ideally, what would she do? Would she be like you said, she doesn't say hi, and she doesn't make efforts to reach out to you too much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you tried to say, doing those things that you desire, saying hi to her, and maybe instead on one of those Friday nights when you're watching movies, maybe you could ask her to go out to the movies with you. Just things that you would like to be done to you. Maybe those people who you're longing for friendship with might need you to be the one to do those things. So.
Yeah, I could reach out to her. I guess I never thought of, because I tried it the one time and then I just kind of gave up. But I could keep trying to reach out to her. Maybe the next time I see her, I'll say, hey, and ask her what she's doing tonight and just start a conversation.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a great start, I think. And so going back to with your classes, how often a week do you have class? Is it every day?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay. So do you feel like when do you feel like class gets the hardest? Do you feel like after a weekend or at the end of the week?
I feel like in the beginning of the week is when I hate it all the most, because I'm like, oh, I just had 2 days off and now I have to go back and do all these BS classes that I don't even need for my major, but they're required because they're general education classes.
So you say BS classes.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely sense a little anger there towards what you have to do on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you don't feel fulfilled learning these things in these classes?
I guess I don't, but I could. It is probably good information that I wouldn't mind knowing.
Mm-hmm.
but I guess I just kind of floated through high school and got my grades, but didn't really take in any of the information. So that's what I feel like I'm doing here, but I don't think I can do that here. College is harder than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, college, for a lot of people, it's a big step, and you're only being 18. You're doing a great job at recognizing these things that are making you struggle, and obviously that's a good first step to being able to change those things. So from here, what would you like to? I know people talk to you all the time about academic outcomes and things that you should be learning, but do you feel like these are things that you want to continue pursuing? Do you feel as though college is something you want to keep doing, or are you having thoughts of actually leaving?
No, I know that's the thing. Like I know I have to do it. Like I need to get my degree. I want to get a job. Like it's something I have to do. Maybe it's just because it feels so mundane to me. Like it's something I'm required.
Okay. So your parents, do you think that they had expectations for you to come here and to do all these things that you're doing? Okay.
They did. They haven't never let me once say I wanted to not go to college.
So do you feel like if you dropped out, you'd have no other options then? You just feel as though, are you scared of disappointing them, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate disappointing them. Whenever I have in the past, they never let me forget it either, so it's hard.
Right, well, I think that from what you tell me, you really do, you have a desire to be here. You feel as though it's going to give you a good job in the future, and that's true with what you're studying. It's just getting past these beginning steps and making friendships that can't replace what you had back at home, but things that can help you feel fulfilled, and also you have a desire to get something out of what you're doing here at college. So we can kind of work on that. We can kind of work on ways that you can solidify these friendships, ways that you can feel fulfilled after your classes, and better ways to deal with these overwhelming feelings that you're getting from these. So those are things that we can definitely work on. I definitely see a good acknowledgement of things that you're struggling with, and just on this next week, it would be good if you could maybe try to reach out to that roommate a couple of times, and just you can report back to me and see how she reacts, and maybe if it's just her, or if it's just the way that you're interpreting it. And with classes, I would try to definitely invest yourself in the material a little bit and try to get something worthwhile out of it. And you can tell me what you think next week after you really try to go a little deeper this week in the material. And yeah, I think we have some good goals going forward with this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those are really good. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, I will plan on seeing you next week at the same time. And you have a great week.
Thanks. You too.